Welcome to History with Herodotus, where we delve into the fascinating tales of the past. Today, we embark on an exciting journey through the annals of time to explore the Dutch Golden Age and overseas colonies. This captivating era was marked by a surge in economic prosperity, cultural achievements, and colonial expansion that would leave an indelible mark on the world. As we begin our exploration, let us set the stage for this remarkable period. The Dutch Golden Age was a time of great transformation, where the Netherlands emerged as a major power in Europe and beyond. But to truly understand the significance of this era, we must first examine its precursors and origins. It is here, in the earliest history of the Dutch Golden Age and overseas colonies, that we find the seeds of greatness sown. Our tale begins in the late 16th century, when the Netherlands was a region of fervent activity, with cities like Amsterdam, Leiden, and Utrecht becoming hotbeds of commerce, innovation, and intellectual curiosity. The year 1568 marked a pivotal moment as the Dutch revolt against Spanish rule commenced, led by figures such as William of Orange. This revolt would eventually lead to the establishment of the Dutch Republic in 1588 with the signing of the Treaty of Berlin. As the Dutch Republic took shape, its people turned their attention to the seas, recognizing the vast opportunities that lay beyond their shores. The Dutch East India Company, founded in 1602, would become a driving force behind the Netherlands' colonial expansion, seeking to establish trade routes and secure valuable resources such as spices, textiles, and precious metals. Key figures like Johan van Oldenbarnevelt, the Grand Pensionary of Holland, played crucial roles in shaping the country's foreign policy and commercial endeavors. The earliest history of the Dutch Golden Age and overseas colonies is also marked by the establishment of colonies in the Americas, Africa, and Asia. In 1624, the Dutch West India Company was founded with the aim of expanding Dutch trade and colonization in the Western Hemisphere. The colony of New Amsterdam, established on Manhattan Island in 1626, would eventually become a thriving commercial center, later to be known as New York. As we explore this period, we find ourselves in the midst of a vibrant cultural landscape where artists like Rembrandt van Rijn and Johannes Vermeer were creating some of the most iconic works of the Dutch Golden Age. The city of Leiden, with its prestigious university, became a hub of intellectual inquiry, attracting scholars from across Europe. However, this era was not without its challenges and controversies. The transatlantic slave trade, which played a significant role in the Dutch colonial economy, would leave a lasting legacy of injustice and inequality. The Dutch involvement in the slave trade, particularly in the 17th and 18th centuries, is a sobering reminder of the complexities and contradictions of this period. As we conclude our examination of the earliest history of the Dutch Golden Age and overseas colonies, we find ourselves poised on the threshold of a new era of growth and transformation. The stage is set for the Netherlands to emerge as a dominant world power, with its colonies and trade networks spanning the globe. Welcome back to History with Herodotus, as we continue our journey through the captivating era of the Dutch Golden Age and overseas colonies. We now find ourselves in the midst of the 17th century, a time when the Netherlands had emerged as a major power in Europe and beyond. This was an age of unparalleled prosperity, cultural achievements, and colonial expansion, which would leave an indelible mark on the world. As we explore this period, we are struck by the sheer scale and complexity of Dutch commercial endeavors. The Dutch East India Company, founded in 1602, had become a behemoth of international trade, with its vast network of ships, merchants, and agents spanning the globe. The company's influence extended from the spice markets of Indonesia to the textile mills of India, and from the ports of Africa to the merchant houses of Europe. Key figures like Johan Pieterszoon Cohen, the Governor-General of the Dutch East Indies, played crucial roles in shaping the company's policies and expanding its reach. One of the most striking aspects of this period is the emergence of the Netherlands as a center of artistic and intellectual innovation. The city of Amsterdam, with its majestic canals and grand architecture, had become a hub of cultural activity, attracting artists, writers, and thinkers from across Europe. Rembrandt van Rijn, the renowned painter, was creating some of his most iconic works during this period, including The Night Watch, which would become an enduring symbol of Dutch culture. As the great Dutch poet Joost van den Vondel once wrote, "Amsterdam is a city of golden dreams, where commerce and art entwine like the threads of a rich tapestry." The Dutch colonies in the Americas, Africa, and Asia also flourished during this period, with the establishment of thriving commercial centers like Batavia, Cape Town, and New Amsterdam. The colony of Suriname, founded in 1667, would become a major producer of sugar, coffee, and other valuable commodities, while the Dutch West India Company's territories in Brazil and the Caribbean would play a significant role in the transatlantic slave trade. As we delve deeper into this period, we are reminded of the complexities and contradictions of Dutch colonial power. The Netherlands' involvement in the slave trade, which had begun in the early 17th century, would continue to grow and expand, with devastating consequences for the millions of enslaved Africans who were forcibly transported across the Atlantic. The Dutch also faced challenges from rival European powers, including the English, French, and Portuguese, who sought to undermine their colonial dominance. Despite these challenges, the Netherlands continued to thrive, with its economy, culture, and colonial empire reaching new heights of prosperity and influence. As we explore this captivating era, we are struck by the sheer scale and ambition of Dutch endeavors, from the construction of grand canals and merchant houses to the establishment of thriving colonies and trade networks. As we conclude our examination of the pinnacle of Dutch colonial power, we find ourselves poised on the threshold of a new era of transformation and decline. The stage is set for the Netherlands to face new challenges and uncertainties as the winds of change begin to blow across Europe and beyond. Welcome back to History with Herodotus, as we conclude our journey through the captivating era of the Dutch Golden Age and overseas colonies. We now find ourselves in the midst of the 18th century, a time when the Netherlands was facing significant challenges and uncertainties that would ultimately lead to the decline of its colonial empire. As the 18th century progressed, the Netherlands' colonial dominance began to wane, threatened by the rising power of rival European nations, including the British, French, and Prussians. The Fourth Anglo-Dutch War, fought from 1780 to 1784, marked a significant turning point in the decline of Dutch colonial power, as the British successfully captured key Dutch colonies in India and the Caribbean. The Netherlands' economy, which had long been driven by its colonial trade, also began to stagnate. The Dutch East India Company, once the epitome of commercial success, was plagued by corruption, mismanagement, and declining profits. The company's debts became unsustainable, and it was eventually nationalized in 1799. The French occupation of the Netherlands from 1795 to 1813 further accelerated the decline of the Dutch colonial empire. The French imposed significant economic burdens on the Netherlands, including heavy taxes and trade restrictions, which crippled the country's ability to maintain its colonies. Many Dutch colonies were also captured by the British during this period, further eroding Dutch influence. Despite these challenges, the legacy of the Dutch Golden Age and overseas colonies continues to shape the modern world. The Netherlands' colonial empire played a significant role in the development of global trade, the exchange of ideas and cultures, and the creation of new societies in the Americas, Africa, and Asia. The Dutch also left a lasting impact on the languages, customs, and architectures of the regions they colonized. In recent years, there has been a growing recognition of the darker aspects of Dutch colonial history, including the transatlantic slave trade and the exploitation of indigenous populations. This acknowledgement has led to a re-evaluation of the Netherlands' colonial past and its ongoing impact on contemporary society. As we reflect on the decline and legacy of the Dutch Golden Age and overseas colonies, we are reminded that the consequences of historical events can be far-reaching and complex. The story of the Netherlands' rise and fall as a colonial power serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of understanding our shared history and its ongoing impact on the world today. In conclusion, our journey through the captivating era of the Dutch Golden Age and overseas colonies has come to an end. We've explored the emergence of the Netherlands as a major power in Europe and beyond, the pinnacle of its colonial dominance, and the decline of its empire. As we close this chapter, we are left with a deeper appreciation for the complexities and nuances of history and a greater understanding of the enduring legacy of this fascinating period. Thank you for joining me on this journey through history with Herodotus. That's all for today's History with Herodotus. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, remember that to understand the present, we must first understand the past.